What's the best thing that happened to you in Truth or Dare? I was playing Truth or Dare with my sister's friends and I dared one of them to do something, and after one of them says, "You could have dared someone to kiss you and you would have gotten your first kiss." That immediately set a light off in my head, and later in the night I asked if I could kiss her and I did. So I got to kiss a really pretty girl. Got dared to kiss my back then HS crush, couldn't do it not because I'm kinda shy but because it was my crush, so I denied and got booed out. She later came to check up on me and asked if I wanna do it, now that the others weren't around. Of course I said yes and we kissed, first on the cheek, then normally. Afterwards she giggled and told me she liked it. There never came anything from it, but I still think of her quite a lot these days. I found out a girl I had a crush on me. My friend dared the girl I had a crush on to kiss me. She stared at me and said, "I can't do it, he's too ugly," and the other girls said the same thing. I ended up being ignored for the rest of the game. Good times. It was a girl's 19th birthday party and my buddy from high school was there. Everyone was being lame and awkward, so I suggested Truth or Dare. The game went on for a while, but people were getting progressively more naked and horny as most of them were drinking. I was the DD for another friend at the party and the people staying were getting raunchier, so we split. The birthday girl and my high school buddy hooked up and they've been together for about 7 years now and have a daughter together. I was about 12 at a friend's sleepover. I was dared to go home by a kid who didn't like me too much. I walked the 2 miles home, and as I came to my driveway my older brother had just pulled in. He had 3 baby raccoons with him because he had hit their mother while delivering pizza. I got to spend the rest of the night with him, 3 raccoons and a cheese and pepperoni pizza, watching Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm way late, but the first day I met my wife we played a game of Truth or Dare. She asked me, "Truth, what kind of clothes on a girl do you like?" Then the next day she showed up to my house in those clothes. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. We were too old to be playing Truth or Dare, like 20 years old. My friend had only seen boobs in his dad's Playboys. He hadn't even kissed a girl yet. Some woman was dared to show everyone her tits. My friend was silently stoked. He didn't cheer out loud, but I knew he was ducking giddy. As the woman lifted her shirt and bra, some other goober leaned right in front of my friend and blocked his view. It was over before my friend could react. He complained about it for weeks. We've laughed about it for years. Was sitting outside at a college campus and was dared to yell, "I love you," to the next person I saw. I did, and this dude yells it back and keeps walking. We go back and forth, getting louder and louder as he walks off. Best reaction ever. Was dared to catch a frisbee in my teeth from across the yard. So, walked outside and across the yard. Girl wound up, threw the frisbee, figured, this ought to be funny when it bounces off my face, and as a total ducking fluke, actually caught it in my teeth. I wasn't even playing and someone dared a girl I liked to kiss me. That someone became a very good friend. My 2 straight, male friends got in their underwear and scissored each other while singing "Fancy Living, Here We Come" from SpongeBob. Wasn't me, but a girl was dared to mirror what I do, so I made her hug a guy I knew liked her. A girl, I didn't have a crush on her, but she was nice, flashed me. She also let me fondle her boobies. I know it's lame considering some of the responses here, but that's what I got. I made my friend's boyfriend make out with a 4-foot-tall nutcracker. That's the best I got. I was at work, high school job at a department store, and the 4 of us in my department were playing Truth or Dare, mostly dumb work stuff like "Go mix up those shirts." Someone dared the girl who had a rep as being experienced, who was a couple years older than me, to give me a blowjob. She told me to take break with her. I played along. We went to her car. She actually blew me in the store parking lot. We dared this girl to give a friend of mine a lap dance using the first song that came up when he shuffled his entire song library. Seems pretty normal until she had to give a 3-minute lap dance to Cats in the Cradle. A guy told me I was beautiful and that he was too shy to always tell me that cause he thought I was way out of his league. I chose truth every time because I was super boring and had nothing to hide. I got made fun of that weekend, but Monday morning the nasty wannabe popular bitch went around spreading everyone's secrets and the ridiculous dares they did. Everyone except me. Boring for the win. I was a late bloomer in HS. By the time I realized I may be attractive to anyone, it was over. Our senior year party for an art magnet school, we played this. A girl I had a fairly solid crush on, popular, cheerleader, a good friend, was asked who she had fantasized about, and I was the answer. 1 blew my mind, 2 gave me the guts to ask her out, 3 it was a horribly awkward silly lunch date, 4 built my confidence a lot heading into college. A silly story, but it was a good one. Got to play my very first, and only, truth or dare game when I moved to the US for college, with a bunch of people who I would characterize as moderately to severely religious. I was not, but those were the first people I had met, so I went with it. Needless to say, it was tame and clean. Worst thing someone got dared to do was walk up to a stranger and sing the national anthem. Reading all the responses here, I never imagined the game could be so interesting and sexually charged. I definitely missed out. Girl got dared to spin the bottle and give a blowjob to whoever it lands on right in front of everybody. The bottle didn't point at me, but I had a nice view right next to the girl it did land on. Apparently, she had experience dining at the Y. I went to an acquaintance's birthday. We spoke maybe 10 times prior. After a while she was down to just her bra and panties. That's when she was dared to seduce me. Well, she was kind of awkward, so her version of seduction was just to tackle me while we were both near naked. That was a great night, and we're celebrating our first year of marriage next weekend. Got dared to ignore getting tits rubbed in my face for a minute. Your boy can poker face like a champion. Best minute of my teenage life. My friend had a game called Cosmopolitan Truth or Dare. It was a card game that had a truth or a dare question on it. We played with a set of twins once who pulled a dare that read, cover your chests in whipped cream and rub them together, and they actually did it. In 8th grade I was dared to show this girl my dick. We went to a bathroom. I was 13 and horny, so I had a hard-on. I pointed it down and she didn't know the difference. She told her friends later, and I kinda got a reputation of having a big dick even though I'm completely average. I was 16 and my group of friends were sitting in a sauna. Everyone was covered up by a towel, when one of the girls said we should play truth or dare. I got dared to show my dick to one of the girls, so we went out to the changing room / showers that is attached to the sauna, and I showed her my dick and she gave me my first handjob, and later that night we had sex. Ended up together for about 6 years before I found out she had been cheating on me like a lot. Group us were in these tunnels that we liked to hang out in, and our friend was dared to give me a blowjob. Which she actually did. Best 10 seconds I ever had down there. Ended up dating on and off for the next 2 years or so. I was dared to drink all of the drinks on the table. They never specified the time limit, so I had drinks for the next hour sorted. Someone dared me to kiss a lady that I happened to have a thing for anyway. It was a very long time before we stopped kissing. Dated her for 3 years. Great lady, always a little sad it didn't work out. I got to watch my middle school friend, it was winter, go down to the yard strip to Boxers and run a lap around the yard. Needless to say, we were all impressed and hysterically laughing. He did this in the middle of class, by the way. At a birthday sleepover, I was dared to kiss this girl, and we both were like, I never backed down from a dare. So we did a quick peck and were like, ee-oo, as show in front of everyone. Later, when everyone else was asleep, we made out in a closet for a very long time. I learned I was a lesbian then. Cherie was dared to spend 10 minutes in a dark room, nearby den, with the guy of her choice. She chose me. Turned out to be a setup. Her best friend knew that Cherie had a crush on me and made this happen. Anyway, it was the hottest, fastest makeout session to date for me. We were both naked above the waist and she had her hand in my zipper. At 10 minutes there was an unwelcome knock on the door. Rather tame compared to some of the shit that I've seen, I may or may not be envious of, in this thread. But one time when I was like 13 to 14, playing Truth or Dare at a sleepover, I was dared to walk into my friend's sister's room, they were 17 and 19, without knocking and just shout, "Boobs." The only condition I set forth was that I was allowed to bolt back to his room and lock the door so they couldn't beat me up. I did it, and all I saw was the confused faces of his sisters, who had already gone to sleep, staring at my scrawny shirtless pubescent face yelling boobs at 2 a.m. Disappointing and anticlimactic as duck, but that's what happens when you don't have friends. I played Truth or Dare in a pub in my hometown. It was pretty normal for me and my friends and their friends to play that there because none of us were afraid to do anything except getting naked or something like that. I got a dare to kiss a girl to my right, decided not to do so even though she was up for that. Later that evening I saw her with her boyfriend. I am relieved that I decided to dodge a bullet there. In high school I was offered $50 to streak through a soccer game. Friend parked car on one side, I ran through. As I approach car /clothes it drives off. So then I was left naked without anything nearby to assist. It was reasonably dark so I kinda just snuck to my friend's house which was only 5 minutes away or so. I did get the $50 upon my return. Shrek's house. I am now a respectable employee at a respectable IT company that would be thoroughly appalled at my past. But when I was at university, there was a house a couple of streets down that was essentially orgy central, and it all started with a game of Truth or Dare. In the 7th or 8th grade, I was going back and forth with my friend with a bunch of risk dares: flash your boobs, show her my dick, make out with each other, dry hump, etc. I eventually just went for it and dared her to blow me and she did it. I remember being so hard that I barely even felt anything, initially. So many others talking about their crushes and I'm over here thinking about the time a friend had to stand outside in his underwear, shake a soda, and spray it on himself yelling him a sticky boy. Last week on one camp I got dared to jump into a bush. You're kinda lame, but I also dared my friend to run only in his trunks all over the main square park. The best thing is that it has been recorded and afterwards he sent it to his mum. As dream came true. Worked at a kids camp as a counselor, and the night before the kids arrived the staff all played Truth or Dare every year. Youngest was probably grade 8 and oldest around grade 11. I got dared to unhook one of the girls' bras with my teeth, the clasp was in the front. Got to see boobs for the first time at an overnight birthday party. I found out almost 5 years later that it was planned for her to show them to me specifically since she had a crush on me and I didn't realize it because I'm oblivious and stupid. Hijacking to share my worst. When I was in high school, we played Truth or Dare gender. I was the first to get a dare piece and I did the dare. I had to blow in some guy's ear. Fine. A little embarrassing, but that's what you do. The next time a dare came up, the person refused to do it. Everyone was like, okay. The next few people also refused to do their dares. I was like, WTF. One girl said, nobody actually does the dares, with a withering tone that might as well have said, you idiot. Duck those guys. Not me, but I was at the circle doing it. One of the really hot girls there was dared to, without her hands, take the Invisalign out of the guy's mouth sitting next to, and have it in the entire night. Everyone went quiet and looked at her. Without hesitation grabs the guy, and with her tongue takes it out of his mouth and into hers. She was supposed to keep it in the rest of the night, but it didn't fit her properly and she only had it for about 30 minutes. Most ballsy thing I've ever seen someone do. So not best, but a truth or dare story nonetheless. 5th grade. Crush gets dared to kiss me. Crush looks at me and goes, "You gross. He's fat." And that was that. If this is going to be copy and pasted in a BuzzFeed article, please include this: "Duck you, Larry." Had a girl whom I had a huge crush on, and we were at the YMCA daycare playing truth or dare in the back. Somebody dared her to kiss me. I wasn't a bad-looking kid, but I certainly wasn't popular. We went to the closet and I told her she didn't have to kiss me if she didn't want to. She said, "I want to," and I had my first kiss. There were fireworks. My then girlfriend dared our friend to do some Shrek stuff with me. I ended up leaving then GF for that girl. Me and that girl have now been together for 8 years, married for 3, have a beautiful daughter and hopefully another on the way soon. Best truth or dare game ever. I had invited all of my co-workers over to my parents' house after work, including my crush. I was 19 at the time. The night was dying down and I drunkenly told my friend I was crushing hard. He said, "I got you." It was me, him, his GF and my crush, and he started daring all of us to do really sexually charged things: moon, get naked, moan etc. His girlfriend then dared her to kiss me, which she did. He then dared her to have sex with me, which she did. This was all consensual, by the way. The sexual energy had been building all night and this was just the natural progression. She did have a big booty though. Was dared to eat a random plant in the backyard. My TD sessions weren't as cool as yours apparently. Long story short, tongue went numb and turned black, spent the next 30 minutes swishing with anything I could get my hands on: Listerine, then water, then cream soda. Best thing? I lost my virginity to my then girlfriend. She, in turn, lost hers to me. We've been married for 11 years now, and are the proud parents of 2, with a third on the way. When the bottle finally landed on me after like 10 spins, I was so excited to participate that I chose dare. Of course, the spinner was the biggest asshole of the group and dared me to leave the game. So I did, and I played tonsil hockey with his older sister 10 minutes later. Best dare ever. Happened onto a hardcore game once at an after-hours party 20 plus years ago. Was dared to go down on a girl I didn't know. Very cute girl. It led to Shreks, and the next thing I remember, I woke up the next day on someone's couch. They wanted me to leave. Embarrassing and shameful, but so awesome. Recovering alcoholic now, by the way. It didn't happen to me, but this girl was dared to moan sexually while giving someone else a neck massage. We were all high school perverts and the girl was one of the hottest in our class, so we all learned what she sounded like in bed. Met these girls one day while playing some basketball. We dared her to show her tits. My friend and I were 13 at the time. She did. Things got pretty heated. The next day we went to her girlfriend's house and played some spin the bottle. My buddy got a handjob from the girlfriend and I got to suck on the first girl's tits. They were pretty big. She was around 15, I think. That was the closest I had gotten to Shreks at that age. Ask Susan, not her real name, out on stage tomorrow during assembly. You won't. Susan, by the way, was my crush through high school. She was top of our class and one of the fastest swimmers on our team, which I was also part of myself, and hella gorgeous. Basically, ask out your crush, who is every single high cool dude's dream girl. I did. In front of the whole school. It was embarrassing as hell. She walked off of stage on me, half the audience laughed at me for my stupidity, and I was crushed, but as a man of my word I had to follow the dare, which my friends didn't expect me to actually do. The rest of the day I received a mix of jeers at my expense and pity at my rejection, and I just felt defeated, knowing full well what I'd just done over a stupid dare. But after school, while I was still reeling, she met me, and to my great surprise she accepted. We dated for 2 years before we had to split for college. In 8th grade, my girlfriend invited my friend and I to a party of about 8 people and we were the only dudes. Started by playing strip poker and my buddy rigged the deck so that we won and got to see our first sets of boobs from the 2 best looking girls there. Played some spin the bottle, 7 minutes in heaven, and of course truth or dare. Worst part of the story was the following week when some of the girls at the party were invited to a weekend school retreat with a couple teachers. They began to tell the teachers some of the things that happened at the party. My mom was one of the teachers.